F1 has descended into chaos off track again. I feel like another one of these news roundup videos is required just to recap everything that's been going on these last days and that, and just get a few thoughts I have out about those things. Oh, and again, any banging in the background that you hear, it's still young bloody Steinbracher. And if you go on to enjoy this video, then be sure to subscribe. I have more content coming out. I have more content on the channel. The next edition of Insert Season here without Insert Team here is going to be coming out this Sunday at 2 PM UK time, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, let's get into this. So first up, there's been this whole Christian Horner thing going on. I'm not going into that here because I just did a video on that. Go see my previous video, please. I ain't going into that here. The season has also gone underway. The Bahrain Grand Prix took place where Max Verstappen proved that he ain't freaking slowing down. He basically did dominate the entire race. He led every lap from pole position, fastest lap. It was a grand slam for him. But the thing I wanted to mention here was a couple of issues that a couple of drivers had. Leclerc, he had some issues with his brakes. If you remember, there was like a 100-degree split or something like that between the front right and front left in terms of temperature. He was having a lot of problems with that. But apparently, he was reportedly losing around 0.6 per lap in the first 20 laps of the race. And you kind of have to think that without those issues and all the time he lost with it, then he probably would have been finishing ahead of Perez. The Mercedes drivers were also having issues. I'm not too sure exactly what those issues were. It was something to do with the engine or cooling. I'm pretty sure they probably got that fixed for this coming race this weekend. But I'm pretty sure I saw something about Toto saying that Russell was losing like upwards of half a second a lap with his issues or something. Hamilton had a broken seat as well, apparently. Which, how that happened, I have absolutely no idea. But regardless, it would have been interesting to see where Perez would have ended up if Russell and Leclerc weren't having their issues. Because I'm questioning if Perez would have even been on the podium if those drivers I mentioned weren't having issues. And also, one last thing on Bahrain, who'd have thought that the first fireworks of the season between teammates would come from Toro Rosso with Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda? Next up, we have this whole Mohammed Ben Sulayem thing. The FIA president is in deep doo-doo. So it came out the other day that he is under investigation for alleged attempt to interfere over the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix last year. So apparently a whistleblower told the FIA that the FIA president allegedly intervened to try and get that penalty Alonso got that initially dropped him off the podium, then he was reinstated. Apparently Sulayem was allegedly intervened to get that penalty overturned. So it says in the article from the BBC, the allegation made by the whistleblower is that Ben Sulayem called the FIA's vice president for sport in the Middle East and North Africa region, who happened to be in Saudi Arabia for the race in an official capacity, and he made it clear that he thought Alonso's penalty should be revoked. And it goes on to say that the whistleblower reported that apparently Ben Sulayem required or expected the stewards to overturn their decision to issue that late penalty to Alonso. I'm gonna be honest. If I had a nickel for every time Alonso was involved in a case of apparent race fixing, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot. But it's weird it happened twice, right? I don't know why he would try and get that overturned, but it's not the only reason why he's been in the shit. Because he also allegedly told officials not to certify the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which that makes even less sense as to why he would want that to not be certified. But the claims are coming from the same whistleblower as claimed that he was involved in the race in like allegedly trying to overturn Alonso's penalty. Same whistleblower. The whistleblower says that they were told that on behalf of the FIA president to find a way to not pass the circuit is safe for racing. Again, why? I have absolutely no idea. The article, also from the BBC, says that an FIA spokesperson said, from a sporting and safety perspective, the Las Vegas circuit approval followed the FIA protocol in terms of inspection and certification. If you recall, there was a delay in the track being made available for inspection due to ongoing local organizer construction works. So this article goes on to state that the reporter quotes that the whistleblower said that they were contacted by their manager, who on behest of the FIA president instructed him to find some concerns to prevent the FIA from certifying the circuit before the weekend of the race, with the purpose being to find a fault with the track in order to withhold the license. And this goes on to add, as to be more specific, the whistleblower said that the issues on the circuit were meant to be artificially identified regardless of their actual existence, with the ultimate goal of withholding the license. Of course, the officials were unable to find any concerns with the circuit, and of course it was certified before the race took place. And as I said, and as it says here, it's not exactly clear, no one seems to know why Mohammed Ben Sulayem would wish the track to not be certified. The FIA later on, this was yesterday, this news came out, they issued a statement saying its compliance officer has received a report detailing potential allegations involving certain members of its governing bodies. The compliance department is assessing these concerns, as is common practice in these matters, to ensure that due process is meticulously followed. Genuine question. How long until Mohammed Ben Sulayem loses his job? And how long after this video is posted will it be before someone's in the comments saying Sebastian Vettel for FIA president? I mean, tell you what, I'd back it. Like I said, I have absolutely no idea why the actual heck the FIA president would want to not have the Las Vegas track certified after so much had been sunk into that race. And I also have no idea why he would want to try and get Alonso's penalty overturned. All I know is that he's in it deep, and if these allegations are true and correct, I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see him lose his job. But more news that came out was the new Saudi Grand Prix track at Qiddiya, the Qiddiya track project thing that's going on. We've finally seen something about that. It was rumored, it was been spoken about before that the Formula 1 would eventually move from racing in Jeddah to Qiddiya, Qiddiya Speed Park. It's being developed, and we've finally seen something about that. There was some photos posted yesterday. There was a video about it posted yesterday, and apparently the track will have 21 turns, and turn 1 will be 20 stories high, an elevation change on this track of 108 meters. The track was designed by the former Formula 1 driver Alex Wurz and F1 famous track designer Hermann Tilke. As for the track, then it looks like the image we've seen, this aerial image of the render, it looks like a very long track. It looks impressive, and the video that was posted also very impressive. It's gonna be really, really interesting to see how this whole track develops and how it ends up looking once it's actually built. Because remember, these are just like renders that's still being built. It's gonna be interesting to see if this like kind of vision they have for it can actually be realized and brought into life. If it looks as good in real life as it does in the renders we've seen yesterday and what we saw yesterday of it, then it will be very, very, very glitz and glamour. Other than that, we're gonna have to wait and see on that one, because the Saudi GP is contracted at Jeddah until 2027, I believe it is. So it'll probably be 2028 at the soonest we see this racetrack. You know, unless Jeddah gets extended again, it maybe won't, probably won't, but whatever. Seems like Formula 1 will move to Qiddiya eventually, from what I'm gathering from this. Although one thing I do find slightly interesting is I saw a couple drivers posting about it today. So Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Buemi posting about it, and their posts both look like they've been paid to say that. I'm going to be brutally honest. Because Sebastian Buemi's post reads as follows: I can't wait to discover this amazing circuit in both single-seater and sports car. What a beautiful setup at Qiddiya. A truly amazing challenge for the drivers. And then there's Fernando Alonso's post. The proposed new circuit at Qiddiya City looks set to be one of the most impressive facilities for motorsport worldwide. With high-speed thrills and incredible elevation, immersive attractions and experiences that'll excite fans like never before. It definitely looks like they've been paid to frickin' say that. But of course, these images we're seeing, as I said, they are renders. We're gonna have to wait and see how the track actually ends up looking once it's built. Well, how the facility, rather, the whole facility ends up looking once it's built. But it definitely looks interesting. I don't know, what's your thoughts on all of it? Finally, I feel like a small chat on Alpine is due, because, oh my god, they are shocking, to say the least. They are not having a very good time of it. All I know is that Fernando Alonso and Oscar Piastri will be laughing their bloody arses off looking at Alpine. A team that has somehow managed to go from winning races in 2021 and finishing 4th in 2022 to currently being last. Like, honestly, round of applause on how the hell they've managed to go from that to last in this short amount of a time. Unfortunately, it's not a very good round of applause. A round of applause for something very good. Like, in qualifying in Bahrain, then in Q1, they were around 9/10 to a second slower than the fastest Q1 time, and overall, their times were like 1.6 to 1.8 seconds slower than the pole time. And the race pace also looked hopeless. Like, the car is ugly, the car is slow and not efficient. The Renault engine is, I believe, the worst on the grid at the moment, and the car is overweight. It's not raining for them, it's bloody pouring. And of course, we've also been losing people, which I'm gonna be honest, given how they look, not that surprising when you take into account how many people they've lost over the last, like, 8 months. Not that surprising to see where they are, you know? Because the most recent ones they lost was their technical director, Matt Harmon, and their head of aerodynamics, Dirk Van Beer. And I just saw this morning that Bob Bell, who was in some kind of, like, advisor role, or some kind of role with Alpine, has now ended his connections with Alpine as well. But so now, in the last 8 months, Alpine lost its overall CEO, team principal, sporting director, racing director, chief technical officer, and now technical director and head of aerodynamics, and now Bob Bell, whatever exactly his role or connections with the team was. But they've taken a little bit of inspiration from McLaren in their kind of changes they're making in their kind of technical department, because they created 3 new roles from the 2 that left. They have their technical director for performance, technical director for aerodynamics, and then technical director for engineering. Kieran Pilbeam is taking on the role of technical director for performance, and the technical director for aero is going to be David Wheater, and then technical director for engineering will be Joe Burnell. They're making a lot of changes. And honestly, I think they need to, but I'm genuinely wondering how long it's going to be until Renault say, nah, sod this, and they just pull from F1, and then they just sell the team to the highest bidder, which, let's be honest, will probably be Andretti. Alpine are in trouble, though. They are in deep, deep trouble in terms of where they are. They're going to have to do a lot of work to get themselves back up off the ground, you know, and try to pick themselves up again. Of course, both of their drivers are out of contract at the end of the year. I do think one of them will leave. I think that one that will lose his seat is Esteban Ocon. But honestly, could they lose Pierre Gasly as well? If Alpine don't prove that don't show that they're improving, and they will be improving, if they cannot convince Gasly is worth staying, could he be gone as well? As well as Ocon, who, as I said, I think he will lose his seat. It wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility, I don't think, that they could be needing a whole new driver lineup for next year, because I just have this feeling if they don't prove they can improve, hopefully they do improve. Hopefully they do improve. I mean, this is a manufacturer team. It's a team that's won bloody championships back in 2005 and 2006 with Fernando Alonso. This team, the Enstone-based team, this team used to be Benetton, who won championships with Michael Schumacher. This team has seen so much success before, and now they are worse than Haas, which I didn't think would be possible this season. However, Haas have actually proven that they're actually not that bad. They're not as bad as everybody thought. But Alpine are a disaster zone. They really, really need to try and dig deep and pull themselves out of this hole. Hopefully they will be, but we'll see. And that's it for this video, for this news roundup. So, sum up, there's the Horner thing, which I said go watch the other video. There's that bit of news from BAT about the Bahrain Grand Prix and the issues. The FIA president's in deep doo-doo. There's a new Saudi track that's going to be being developed in Quidia, that whole track project that's going on there. And then Alpine are also in deep doo-doo. What's your thoughts on all of this that I've spoken about today? Honestly, can we... this can end up being a monthly thing. Like, what is it with the beginning of the month and F1 descending into freaking chaos, you know? Like, I did one at the beginning of February. It was like a month ago to the day, I think, that I did my last one of these. Now I'm doing another one. It's like, is there going to be another one at the beginning of April? Anyway, what's your thoughts? Let me know them down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.